Cortland Simmons with you here on the 26th day of August in the year of our Lord 2018 with the Travers Stakes recap and early Breeders' Cup preview here on the CS Racing Report. And Catholic Boy, very impressive in his 4-length score in the 149th edition of the Midsummer Derby, winning the Travers in 201.94. Javier Castellano wins his 6th Travers for trainer Jonathan Thomas, his first win in the classic race at Saratoga Springs, New York. And for a division looking for an identity in lieu of Justify's retirement, the Triple Crown winner, it has certainly found one. The answers to the $64 or the multitude of $64 questions that have been bandied about for the past month since the final preps leading into the Travers were conducted, it would appear that the CEO of the 3-year-old division, the person that's going to run the asylum, is, of course, a Catholic Boy. Hence, the son of More Than Ready has taken the mantle of being not only a Grade 1 winner on the turf, but now he adds a Grade 1 score on the dirt, on the main track, to his resume, which is already sparkling, was sparkling coming into this race. People question that his record on the dirt wasn't as good as it was on the turf. Again, the Florida Derby debacle with the bleeding that took him off the Triple Crown trail after a very impressive win in the Remsen Stakes. He wasn't as good in the Sam Davis. Had his opportunity in the Florida Derby. Again, it was thwarted, and his progress was stalemated by that bleeding incident. That, of course, has been a forgotten story, and when it has been re-examined and re-emerged and reinserted into the conversation, people have had enough belief in the 3-year-olds, even despite there being not maybe a clear favorite, that it was reasons to maybe use it as a downside or dismissal of him to win this race. But he was coming into this race in great form. I thought that his tactical speed would really help. He obviously was going to have to get out of there coming out of the 11, and then from there we would see if he could perform. And Good Magic, performed very poorly, finished 9th here, did not get out of the gate the way that they would have anticipated to use his tactical speed. But the bottom line is, even despite an unideal start, he just never got going. When you finish 9th, that's a horse that is not ready to run. And certainly if he was ready, there's no question the others were a little faster than he was, much faster, when you finish only in front of one other horse. And that one other horse was another one that I liked going in here, the 2-time classic winner out of the Canadian Triple Crown, Wonder Gadot. And she just didn't pick up. She tried to use some pace pressing tactics. I believe that it was a mistake as the race unfolded, and it certainly did not yield a favorable result in the end. She faded. And I said before, I think one of the reasons why she did was, number one, I don't think that's her running style, literally and figuratively. She was in a really ideal hole. She was coming out of the number 2 spot. Obviously, you want to get out and show a little bit of speed, not completely get boxed in, but she's a horse that likes to come from a little bit off of it, and she is a mid-pack kind of stalker sort. So she is a forwardly placed horse, a lot like Good Magic and Catholic Boy in many ways, but not a stark front runner. And she was trying to really press up in the early going, and I've said before that, number one, tactically I didn't think that was a good idea. Number two, over this Saratoga surface, which can surprise a few horses, which surprises a lot of horses because it's deep, it's tiring, it can be cuppy even when the racetrack is playing fast. So that is something that is not talked about very often, but I mentioned it leading into this race, and certainly have not deviated from it now, given the aftermath. And again, horses can't talk and tell us whether they were getting over the track or not. That's where the trainers and the riders, offer and lend and fill in the gaps with their commentary. But there's no question that it probably wreaked a little havoc on some of these horses. But at the end of the day, you have to perform. Catholic Boy had to perform on it and compete on it, as well as did the runner-up Mendelssohn, who certainly turned things around.